news that matters to you anytime you need it. This is
From the threat of rain-wrapped tornadoes to straight-line winds.
Yeah.
Sean, you've been covering it all.
It is a busy night tonight, and we are just getting started. We have, I believe, another brand new tornado warning that just came on as you guys joined us from the commercial break. We are dealing with a line of thunderstorms that is not only producing potential tornadoes, but also some damaging straight-line wind gusts. And now a brand new tornado warning that basically includes parts of Watonwan and Brown County all the way up to New Ulm, St. James, Medelia, Sleepy Eye, and New Ulm, all included in this. We do have another warning that's in effect for Springfield and the Sanborn Corners area now moving up toward Morgan and Sleepy Eye. So there's a lot happening here. The latest warning is this one right here. This is a brand new tornado warning that is in effect until 7:15 for Brown County and parts of Watonwan County. Tornado, quarter-size hail, all possible with this storm. And it's moving along at a very fast pace, 55 miles per hour. So be on guard now because you're not going to have a lot of time to get ready for this. It's coming quick. St. James, again, won't be more than a few minutes, and this thing's going to be knocking on your door. So be prepared. Strong straight line wind, potential tornado with these storms. And they're not going to be easy to see. Don't be outside doing the looky-loo thing because you're probably not going to see the tornado. What you're going to see is the rain. And then when the rain gets there, the tornado is going to be hidden in there and you're gone goose. So just get to the basement, get to your safe place. Don't mess around with it. These are very dangerous storms that are moving in. I'm going to look at a couple of things here. The first thing I'm going to pop up, this is what we call velocity, and it's kind of messy right now just because of the distance that we are from the radar. But what we like to look for here is when we get the reds and the greens kind of close together, that's when we have rotation. Green is wind or air that's moving toward the radar. The red is wind or air that's moving away from the radar. So when we get these close together, it's a good sign that there is some rotation, and we do have some rotation within these storms. This one here, actually, west of Morgan near Wabasso, there may be a little bit of rotation in this particular area here, but this is just a very strong straight line wind that we have that's going to be pushing up to Morgan, up to Highway 68, the Wabasso area. Again, some potential tornado, but we are also dealing with the possibility for some very strong straight line wind gusts. Let me back up here again and take a look at what's going on here. A brand new severe thunderstorm. This is for Nicollet, Sibley, and Renville County. That's this one. Oh, where are we here? This one right here for the Gaylord area, western parts of Nicollet County. A brand new severe thunderstorm warning there. That would be this area right through here. For more damaging straight-line wind gusts. This particular storm warning is in effect for western Sibley, southeastern Renville, northwestern Nicollet County. 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter hail possible with this line of storms that is moving in. So maybe not a tornado, but when you're talking 70-plus mile-per-hour straight-line wind gusts, this can do as much damage as a tornado. So take this seriously. Get yourself to a safe place. All right, so let's kind of recap here. I want to let you know everything that's going on. Line of thunderstorms now moving across western Minnesota, central Minnesota, toward the New Ulm, Mankato area now. In fact, these storms go all the way down to Spencer, come up through Windham, all the way up to Redwood Falls, where we have severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings that are in effect. A lot of cloud-to-ground lightning. You can turn on the lightning tracker here for a second. You can see that there's a significant amount of lightning, which is dangerous in itself, but we're also dealing with some very, very heavy rain with these storms. I'm going to go from north to south here and just kind of take you through all of the warnings that we have in effect. We have a severe thunderstorm, a tornado warning for parts of Brown and Redwood County. That's in effect until 6:45 this evening. That includes Springfield. That includes the Morgan area. That includes Sleepy Eye. It includes Wabasso, Willow Lake area. Very strong wind, potential tornado with that storm. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Nicollet, Renville, and Sibley counties. That's until 7:30. We have yet another tornado warning in effect for parts of Brown and Watonwan County. This one actually includes St. James, Medelia, New Ulm, Sleepy Eye, kind of included in there too. The Goodall area, Hanska, Butterfield included there. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Martin County. This is until 7:30 this evening, and this one again for 70+ mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So there's a lot going on here along this line. And for those of you who are ahead of all of this, if you are in New Ulm, if you are in Mankato, if you are in Fairmont right now, you have time to get ready for these storms. If you're in St. James, you still have time to get ready. We're going to likely see some tornadoes popping in, some very strong straight-line wind gusts. This storm is doing what we're calling bowing. And when we get the bows, and especially these areas, little areas right here, we get these little things that kind of project out. That's where we have particularly strong straight line wind gusts. And so there will be a lot of places along this line where we do have strong straight line wind. Our meteorologist, Caitlin Lohr, is on this storm, and she is kind of tracking things down by the St. James area, and she does not, as far as I'm aware, report seeing a tornado or anything like that at this point, but she is watching things very closely as well. We hope to chat with her here in just a bit. But for now, again, hi Caitlin, this is Sean. Caitlin Lohr is here. She is tracking these storms as well. And Caitlin, tell me where you are. You're on the storm that's near St. James right now?
That is correct.
So tell me what you're seeing. I know that these storms have a lot of rain kind of wrapping up in them, so it's probably really hard to see a tornado, but what do you got?
Yeah, so we're kind of under the shelf cloud right now. There is a notch in the radar, and that is kind of what we're watching, because that is kind of where you could see a possible tornado in situations like this. So we're keeping a close eye on that as this storm is continuing to move towards the Mankato area. We're under the edge of it, so we're kind of in the mix of clear conditions as well as rainy conditions. But if we were to slow down, maybe wait 30 seconds, we're going to get into potential downpour as well as this very bluish green hue to the sky. So that is another thing. The hail is going to be pretty beefy, as I like to say, with storms like this.
Yeah, I know that there are a lot of hail, and there's a lot of moisture with this too. I know that there's a lot of very, very heavy rain that's happening along with these thunderstorms as well.
Yeah, so that is limiting, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, that is limiting what we can see. But thankfully, where we are positioned, we are not under that rain. So we do have a clear view of that one area that we are watching closely for any potential tornado production.
Perfect. We'll be checking in with you, Caitlin. Thanks so much. Stay safe out there. I know that a lot of people may like to go out and look at the storms. Caitlin is a trained meteorologist with lots of experience in looking at storms and kind of examining and diagnosing different storm structures. So she knows where to be to stay safe and exactly where to do. And she's going to continue to report back to us here. Throughout the evening, she will let us know if she sees anything that looks threatening. Tornado watch remains in effect until midnight tonight. So be prepared for this to last for a while. We're going to be dealing with potential for large hail damaging straight line wind, tornadoes along this line as it continues to push to the east, and it's moving along at a good clip. We're talking probably around 45 to 55 miles per hour as the storm continues to move off to the northeast. Let me use our storm tracker here, and I'm going to try to give you a rough guesstimate as to when these storms are going to be moving in. But if the storms continue to move like they are, New Ulm at about 6:58, Nicollet 7:14, Mankato probably sometime around 7:30. Now, keep in mind that could change if the storm speeds up or slows down. They are coming, so if you get to 7:27 in Mankato and it hasn't happened yet, just be ready for it, because it will definitely be coming in a rather quick hurry. But some tornadic potential, damaging straight line wind gusts, all of that is possible with these storms as they move through. Again, we have several. Let me pop our warnings back up here so you can see what is going on. We have a tornado warning now. This one is a new tornado warning. This one is for, let me get this one right here. For Renville County, this is until 7:15. The radar is a bit messy. There's a lot of stuff going on here. This particular storm for central Renville County, a storm near Redwood Falls, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. This has also the potential to produce some quarter-size hail with this particular storm. This storm right here, let me show you where it is, near Redwood Falls. That's the one that we're talking about. This one is going to move to the northeast. And again, potential is there to produce a tornado. And hey, Mom, if you're watching, I know my mom's in Morgan right now. Let me know. Send me a text. Let me know what's going on in Morgan. Some strong wind, possibly some rotation in the Morgan area, kind of along and now northeast of Highway 67, 68, and moving up toward the Minnesota River. So this latest warning includes Fairfax. It includes Morton. Folks in between Highway 19 and Highway 212 included in this brand new tornado warning that was just issued here by the National Weather Service. Again, that is this area right through here. Brand new tornado warning in effect for large hail and the potential for a tornado and strong straight line wind gusts here with this storm. Franklin included, Morton included at around 6:45. That's when the storm will be in your neck of the woods. It's 6:41 now, so there isn't much time. This storm's going to go barrel it into Franklin, Morton here shortly. Brand new tornado warning. Another one to the north here. This one is for Western Nicollet. I think this one may not be new. Is this one new? Yeah, it is. Western Sibley, northwestern Nicollet till 7:30. Tornado and quarter-size hail possible with this particular storm. And again, basically, this is just an extension of the warning for storms that are moving into the New Ulm, Minnesota River Valley area. A lot of tornado warnings in effect from Springfield to Redwood Falls, New Ulm, St. James, Windham, all included in the tornado warning. And it's not necessarily that we have a very visible, well-defined tornado. These may be damaging straight-line wind gusts with little tornadoes kind of embedded within the storm. There's a lot of very, very heavy rain associated with these thunderstorms. And the tornado may be hidden in there, so don't be standing outside waiting to see the tornado and then plan to take shelter. These things are going to be hidden, they're going to be hard to see, and they're moving very, very quickly. So if you are along this line of storms, get yourself someplace safe. Get to your shelter, get to your basement. Make sure your friends, your family, everyone you know, your loved ones are aware that there is a fairly significant severe weather threat that is happening right now. Tornado, severe thunderstorm warnings continue here across much of southern Minnesota. We did have let's see here. I'll just check a couple of things here.
Well, and I would think what you were talking about earlier too, Sean, is that you're seeing the National Weather Service issuing warnings out in advance of where these storms are. So that's why you are seeing a tornado warning issued for parts of Nicollet and Sibley County. Even though the storm's not necessarily near Nicollet County right now, you're getting that early warning to seek shelter. As you mentioned, these storms can produce straight line winds in excess of 70, 80 miles per hour or higher. And oftentimes in this part of the country, you can see those storms do just as much damage as a weak tornado can do.
Yeah, Mitch Keegan is here joining me. Mitch, it's good to have you along to kind of help us get through this severe weather event that we have going on. But you're right, they're issuing these warnings well in advance so people's weather radios go off and you have time to get to a safe place. Because when storms are moving at between 50 and 60 miles per hour, you don't have a lot of time. Right now, St. James, you are going to get whopped here in just a little bit on the very eastern edge now of this line of thunderstorms. A tornado warning is in effect, likely some very strong, damaging straight-line wind gusts for you. We're seeing a lot of bright colors too. This is the velocity, and this shows us where the wind is. There is a lot of very strong wind located within these storms. And so again, in addition to the potential for tornadoes, some widespread straight-lined wind damage is very possible with these storms as they move in. The Morgan area, some very, very strong wind going on there. North of Redwood Falls, we have some very strong wind, actually right now almost along Highway 19. Some very strong wind happening for folks there. And we're also dealing with hail. Some fairly decent hail in a few spots, although not a lot. I do have a more pronounced signature on our hail tracker down and kind of between Lake Okoboji and Spencer. But really the main issue here is that damaging straight line wind and the potential for tornadoes kind of embedded within these individual storm cells. So we're watching things closely. We have multiple teams of spotters working for us out in the field, kind of keeping an eye on things to let us know if they see anything that is significant. But again, at this point, it's tough to see just because everything is so rain-wrapped that it's kind of hard to see where those individual tornadoes might be. I'm going to take these warnings off of here just because it can be a little confusing just because there's so many boxes and so much clutter on the screen. Basically, right now, the leading edge of this system moving into Fairfax. Right now, Sleepy Eye. You've been dealing with this heavy rain and wind for a little while now. If you head south, moving toward Hanska. The storm is moving toward Hanska. And again, when we start to see these little bulges or these little nooks in the system, that's where we could see perhaps some higher wind gusts. If you're in Hanska, some very strong wind is just about ready to roll in if it's not there already. St. James, it's coming for you. The storm is going to be kicking in here in just a little while. Further south around Trimont, the storm continues to push to the east. Some very strong wind possible there. Sherburne, all the way down to Estherville, Iowa. If you are in this, if you want to tweet us a report, if you have a picture, by all means, don't go to a place where you may get hurt and stay out of harm's way. But if you have any reports and the storms have passed, let us know. You can send us a tweet at KEYC Weather, and it would be great to get your information so we can pass it along so folks that are kind of rolling in here along this line know what they can expect. But again, a long line of strong to severe thunderstorms moving basically west to east here across southern Minnesota. New Ulm, not far away here. We're going to see this storm moving into New Ulm in the next probably 5 to 10 minutes. St. James, it's there. And Fairmont, you're not far away as either. That storm's going to be moving in. It's already in the western part of Martin County. Okoboji, storm moving there, headed toward Estherville, eventually to Sway City, Emmitsburg. It won't be long before you're starting to see some of the tail end stuff here that's moving through Spencer. We're watching these storms, tracking storms here. We have a tornado watch that is in effect across much of southern Minnesota till midnight tonight. These storms are going to continue to progress from west to east here across much of our region. And we're about, I'd say, half hour or so, between a half hour and an hour away here in Mankato from these storms moving into the west edge of our city. Let me pop up our live camera. This is looking to the west up at the hilltop, and you can see that there's still actually a little sunshine out there, but things are going to be changing here very quickly as these strong storms move in. We are keeping an eye on temperatures as well, and this warm front here, you'll notice temperatures in the 80s and 90s to the south. They are, that warm air is surging northward with all that moisture, and that's what's causing these storms. And by the way, for those of you who have been watching, waiting for the extended forecast, we kind of blew that out in the middle of our newscast. Take a look at that. Once we get through tomorrow, we actually have another chance of severe storms tomorrow. Once we get through tomorrow, things are looking much better. It's going to actually feel like spring, cool, comfortable weather. I know a lot of farmers are really starting to get antsy about getting into the field. We need to do that here soon. And so it looks like we do have some drier and more comfortable weather on the way as we take you through the weekend and into next week. We are live here in the KEYC studio in North Mankato, tracking severe storms that are moving across much of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa here this afternoon and this evening. We have multiple tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued and are in effect right now. In fact, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me just go from south to north here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning right here. This one includes Esserville and Armstrong, Iowa. This one is in effect until 7:45. This is for Emmett, northwestern Kossuth County, northwestern Palo Alto County for 60-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail possible with that particular storm. Let's go a little further to the north. Martin County, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect there for Martin County until 7:30. This is for 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter hail. The storm now on the very western edge of Martin County. It will be moving toward Fairmont here in the next short while. This storm is actually now moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So this part of the line has actually slowed down just a little bit. So if we use our storm tracker here, Fairmont 7:14, a little earlier in Welcome and Ceylon. We may be there at about 6:58 Welcome, 7:02 in Ceylon, about 7:14 in Fairmont, East Chain at 7:25, Winnebago at about 7:35 this evening. As we push a little further north, we have a tornado warning that is in effect right here for the St. James, Medelia area. This is for Brown and Watonwan County, Butterfield, Medelia, LaSalle, all included in this particular tornado warning. This is for a radar-indicated tornado, but in addition to that, we are going to be dealing with some very strong and potentially damaging straight-line wind gusts that could cause some fairly big problems as well. That storm continues to move off to the northeast at, we're at about 40 to 50 miles per hour here with this particular storm. If I pull out our storm tracker here, this would put this particular storm in the New Ulm area by about 7:03, Lafayette at 7:08, Nicollet at around 7:22. So again, moving very quickly across the southern part of Minnesota here this evening. Let's move a little further to the north. And we have yet another, actually a couple tornado warnings that are in effect. Let me start. Going to start with this one right here. This one north of New Ulm, and this is for parts of Nicollet, Sibley County. This is in effect until 7:30 this evening. Again, radar indicated tornado, quarter-size hail possible with that. A little further to the north, this one for Renville County. This includes Beaver Falls, the Birch Coulee State Park, Bird Island included in that as well, in effect until 7:15 this evening.
New severe thunderstorm warning for Blue Earth, Brown, Nicollet, and Watonwan counties until 7:45.
Perfect. Let's, there it is. It's getting closer and closer to the Mankato area. It's not going to be long, and this is going to be here. And then, thankfully, it will be gone. Here you go. Blue Earth, Brown. This is for southeastern Brown, western Blue Earth, eastern Watonwan, central Nicollet counties until 7:45. Again, we're looking at the potential for 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail with this particular storm. And now we're starting to get to the point where this line of thunderstorms is going to be moving into the Mankato area. The storms have slowed a little bit. We're now at about between 30 and 40 miles per hour on this particular line of storms. Let me use our storm tracker. And this storm will likely be in New Ulm within about the next 7 or 8 minutes at 7:01, Medelia 7:10, Nicollet 7:27, Mankato, and St. Peter at around 7:49. Mitch, you have anything to add there?
No, I was just, there's really, like we were just talking about a couple minutes ago, a line of warnings essentially from Renville and Redwood counties all the way down into northern Iowa. And it looks like we have a new tornado warning for northern Martin County.
We do. Brand new tornado warning, northern Martin County. This is Fairmont almost included in this tornado warning. That would be for this right here.
That goes until 7:30.
Yes, northern Martin, southern, it's kind of hard to see with all these other warnings here, but northern Martin, southern Watonwan County until 7:30. This is for a radar-indicated tornado. Again, this is near Trimont. The storm is actually located over Trimont. If you are in Trimont, Sherburne, that general vicinity, get yourself to a safe place now. There is some, let me pull up our velocity. And again, it's kind of tough with, we're a little far away from the radar to get really good velocity data here, but there is some rotation in the Trimont area. So if you are there, get yourself to a safe place. Get to your basement, get to wherever you go when you need to seek shelter, because there is, again, the potential of not only a tornado, but some damaging straight line wind gusts here with this as well.
There's a confirmed tornado 6 miles southwest of Lafayette, or 7 miles north of New Ulm, moving northeast at 45. That's the latest from the National Weather Service.
All right, we have...
At 6:54, a confirmed tornado was located 6 miles southwest of Lafayette, or 7 miles north of New Ulm, moving northeast at 45.
Oh, let's see here. That would be...
Right along, somewhere along Highway 15 there.
Yeah, let me... right here. It must be this area right through here. I don't...
Or along the river, I should say.
Yeah, so it's this area right through here, southwest of Lafayette. So if you are in that area, is this a brand new...
No, it's a continuation of the existing warning.
Let me pop this up here. Yeah, confirmed tornado 6 miles southwest of Lafayette, moving northeast. So if you are in Lafayette right now, get to the basement, get to a safe place. There is a potential tornado that's going to be right over the top of here you very, very shortly. And that, I think, would probably be this little notch or this little area right here, which is something that can happen with these potential tornadoes developing out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms. So if you are in Lafayette, get to a safe place. A confirmed tornado now located 6 miles southwest of Lafayette, 7 miles north of New Ulm. This is moving to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. Just got that bulletin a moment ago here. So that is the latest, most current information. Again, if you are in Lafayette, a confirmed tornado on the ground, get to a safe place right now, because this is a whole new ball game. When we get a confirmed tornado, that is some serious stuff. So again, if you are in Lafayette, that's this area right through here. If you are in Lafayette, get yourself to a safe place here ASAP, because there is now a confirmed tornado north of New Ulm, southwest of Lafayette, and this is moving to the northeast toward town now at a fairly quick pace. So again, confirmed tornado is on the ground near Lafayette. Mitch, we are going to continue to watch these storms as they move in. We also have a train. So it was a train spotter that reported from New Ulm that reported a tornado with that line of storms to the west of town as well. So again, New Ulm to Lafayette, that particular area, seek shelter now, kind of along Highway 15. We do have a confirmed tornado on the ground moving toward Lafayette. If you are there, if you are in Winthrop, if you are in the Gaylord area, this will be eventually moving up into your neck of the woods. But north of New Ulm, southwest of Lafayette, moving into Lafayette at this time, a potential tornado on the ground that could do some significant damage here. Tornado warning is in effect in that particular area. And again, a confirmed tornado now on the ground near Lafayette.
And you heard Sean say earlier, go to your safe place, and that is the old adage is put as many walls between you and the storm as you possibly can. That's typically a basement. Sometimes you don't have a basement, so that might be a bathroom, maybe a closet, small interior room. A room with no windows is best. And it's put as many walls between you and the storm as you possibly can. That tornado warning that is in effect for the Lafayette area through the New Ulm area, where there was a confirmed tornado, also includes the southern portions of Sibley County as well. We also have a new tornado warning for McLeod, Renville, and Sibley County. There was a tornado near Buffalo Lake, which is southwest of Hutchinson as well. So kind of a widespread area of severe weather going on across south central Minnesota here this evening, essentially from Hutchinson all the way down into the Iowa Great Lakes region. And we now have a second confirmed tornado. The first is of concern or more immediately close to home in the Lafayette and New Ulm area, where we have that confirmed tornado was confirmed by a storm spotter.
So, Mitch, all of these pink boxes, these are all tornado warnings that we have that are in effect right now. Storms moving into and through New Ulm at this time. We have this line moving north toward Lafayette. And again, this is where that confirmed tornado is on the ground. If you are north of New Ulm near Lafayette and eventually here toward Gaylord, we are going to see this potential tornado on the ground moving toward you here in the next while. Moving northeast at around 35 to 45 miles per hour. Again, more warnings issued just to the north. We have another tornado warning in effect. This one is for parts of McLeod, Renville, and Sibley County. Confirmed tornado near, like you said, near Buffalo Lake, 19 miles southwest of Hutchinson, and that one is moving to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Let me move the radar over here so you can kind of see where that is. There's Buffalo Lake is just east of Hector. It fell off the map. I don't know why it's not on the map anymore, but it's right about here. And that storm will continue to push off to the northeast as well. This would be the area of concern right in here. And again, it's moving to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So this storm will be rolling into Hutchinson here before long. In fact, if the storm keeps moving like it is, we will see this in Hutchinson by about 7:19 this evening. So if you are in Hutchinson, you don't have a lot of time, a little less than 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes before this storm is in your neck of the woods. And again, there is a confirmed tornado with this particular storm as well. Let's back off and kind of regroup and get a handle on the situation here. We are in the middle of severe weather coverage on KEYC TV. And we are watching a line of severe storms, multiple tornado warnings that are moving from west to east here across our KEYC News Now coverage area. Right now, from New Ulm about to Spencer, Iowa is where these storms are. Several things to keep in mind. First of all, a lot of very heavy rain associated with these storms, so the tornadoes may not be easy to see. Don't be out trying to be a looky-loo and wait to see things, because there's a high likelihood that these storms are rain-wrapped. There's a lot of lightning with this. In fact, let me turn our lightning tracker on here for just a second. Look at all those cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. That is a lot of lightning that we have happening out here. In fact, we have a lot of strikes. Just here in the last 15 minutes or so, several thousand lightning strikes that have struck the ground here across southern Minnesota. On top of that, some very strong straight line wind gusts. We're talking excess of 60 to 70 plus miles per hour, plus tornadoes, and we actually have two confirmed tornadoes at this time. One moving over Lafayette right now, and another one near Buffalo Lake moving toward Hutchinson. If you are in the Buffalo Lake Hutchinson area, or if you are near Lafayette, Glencoe, get to a safe place and get to shelter right now, because this is a serious situation. Let's go back. I want to put all the warnings back up here. And again, you can see all of it's kind of a mess and kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on. But basically, if you are in one of these pink boxes, get your rear in gear and head to the basement now, because or wherever your safe place may be, get there now, because these storms are either on top of you or they are going to be there very, very soon. The most serious storms at this point, north of New Ulm near Lafayette, a confirmed tornado reported with this particular storm right here. So again, at this point, if you are in Lafayette, get to shelter. The storm's going to continue to push to the northeast toward Winthrop and Gaylord. If you are kind of in that Winthrop, Gaylord, Lafayette area, long and west of Minnesota Highway 22, get someplace safe now because there is a confirmed tornado on the ground. It may be a quick touchdown, but it may still be on the ground. On top of that, there may be some strong straight line wind gusts coming in immediately behind that. All right, let's go a little further to the north. We have that tornado warning that remains in effect for areas, parts of Renville County, Fairfax, Olivia, between 19 and 212, now pushing up toward 212. Brownton, Hutchinson, tornado warning for you with strong wind, with large hail, potential tornado now from about Buffalo Lake, moving northeast toward the Hutchinson area. There's Buffalo Lake on the map. That's where the tornado is now, actually perhaps just a little north, moving northeastward toward Hutchinson. New Ulm getting some very heavy rain. Hanscom, Adelia, some heavy rain, and a lot of very strong wind pushing in right now down toward Truman. If you are in Truman or Fairmont, tornado warning remains in effect for you as well. This storm is going to continue to move to the east. We've got about another 10 minutes or so before the strongest part of this storm is right smack up to Minnesota Highway 15. So this is going to continue to move to the east as well. Fairmont, not quite in that tornado warning, but you are going to get some pretty nasty weather in Fairmont as well. Let me go to turn these warnings off because there's a lot of stuff here. Some of the places that we're likely seeing some of the stronger wind just east of New Ulm now in Nicollet County, this area right through here, St. James area, potentially a tornado there, but also the possibility for some very strong straight line wind gusts here with this. Our storm tracker, as these storms are moving here to the east at around, they're kind of fluctuating a little, Mitch. We're going between
40 and 50 miles per hour, 40 or 55 miles per hour.
Yeah, so if the storms continue to roll like they are, we're talking the Mankato area probably around 7:30, maybe 7:38. It all depends on the fluctuating speed of these storms, but they're not far away. We're going to see these storms moving into Mankato fairly soon. It won't be long, and when they come, they will bring some very strong straight line wind gusts, and there's the possibility of a tornado. We have a potential tornado near Truman. If you are in Truman, get to a safe place right now. New Ulm, this just coming through at 7:02, possibility of a tornado in New Ulm. If you are in New Ulm, get to a safe place now. This storm is moving in, and it's fierce. It's a powerful thunderstorm that's coming in.
Let's see. And there's essentially, as you have been talking about, from Spencer all the way up through Hutchinson and beyond, we have severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. The National Weather Service is trying to issue these warnings out ahead of the line of storms actually moving through. You kind of mentioned it earlier where during the newscast at 6 o'clock, you're anticipating a warning being issued for parts of Brown County, and it happened. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we don't see a warning that comes out here fairly soon that includes the Mankato area ahead of these storms that are eventually anticipated to move into the region.
Yeah, they are issuing well in advance, and of course, a lot of that's because these storms are moving very quickly. The speed is kind of fluctuating a little bit here and there, but right now from about Highway 19, Winthrop area, down to New Ulm, and again, if you are in New Ulm, get to shelter. Spotters report a tornado west of New Ulm right now, just on the west edge of New Ulm, so kind of out there by the
official report had it near the airport.
Yeah, out there by the airport, kind of by, what is that out there? The Running Store, out by the Walmart, the Star Killer place for Shell's Brewery out there on the west edge, out there in the west. So if you are in New Ulm, get yourself to a safe place now. We do have these little notches here in the storm as well, and when we see those are also indicators that there could be some rotation with these storms. And again, it's a difficult to pinpoint. This isn't like one of those storms that you see down in Kansas or Oklahoma, where it's one big cell with a very well-defined and very visible tornado. This is not what we're dealing with here. This is a completely different situation with some very heavy rain, a high likelihood that these tornadoes are hidden within that rain, and there could be damage that's either tornado damage or straight line wind damage, because we're talking straight line wind gusts of 70, possibly up to 80 miles per hour with these storms as they move through. So again, tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings all in effect up and down this line from near Spencer, Iowa, up through New Ulm, and at this point just west of Mankato. Let me run through these warnings again one more time here quickly. This one's about to expire. This one for parts of Renville County, 7/15. That one will expire for Renville County, which includes Beaver Falls, the Birch Coulee State Park, and Bird Island. We have this one further to the east here that includes Lafayette and Gibbon. This one, damaging tornado. There is a confirmed tornado with this storm now in the Lafayette area. We also have a tornado possibly in the New Ulm area right now. If you are in New Ulm, if you are in Lafayette, Winthrop, Gaylord, get to shelter, get to a safe place now, because there's a potential tornado and it's going to be hard to see. You're not going to see it when you're outside looking at the weather. Don't wait till you can see a tornado to take shelter. Get to shelter now. This one for McLeod, Renville, Sibley County until 7:45. This one is again for another confirmed tornado. This one, confirmed tornado actually near Buffalo Lake, which is right about here. Confirmed tornado actually moving to the northeast toward Hutchinson, and it won't take long to get there. If you are in Buffalo Lake or anywhere between Buffalo Lake and Hutch, get to shelter now. If you are in Hutchinson, there is a storm with a confirmed tornado heading your way. It won't be long, probably another 5-10 minutes before this storm is knocking on your door and rolling into your backyard. We have this tornado warning here for the Hanska, Medelia area. This one is for parts of Brown, southeastern Brown, northeastern Watonwan County. This is in effect until... Well, that one is, until about 7:15. So that won't be much longer, but they'll probably extend that one out further east here when it expires. And then, of course, we have another one down here to the south. This one for parts of Martin County, Watonwan County until 7:30. This one for possible tornado, but also strong damaging wind gusts in excess of 55, or actually in excess of 70 miles per hour. The storm is actually moving along at about 55 miles per hour. The other issue, of course, before I get there, we do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. This one does include Mankato. Severe thunderstorm warning for Blue Earth, Le Sueur, and Nicollet counties. And this one, an hour long, lasts until 8:15 this evening. 70-plus mile per hour wind gusts and quarter hail possible with this storm as it moves through western Le Sueur County, Blue Earth County, eastern Nicollet County, and south central Minnesota. Mapleton, Mankato, North Mankato, all included in this severe thunderstorm warning. And again, the minimum criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning is quarter hail, 60 mile per hour wind. This is actually a step above that. We're talking 70-plus mile per hour wind gusts possible with this line of storms as it moves in. And again, the actual line of storms is moving at a pretty good clip as well, somewhere around 40-ish or so miles per hour. And real quick, Mitch, before I have you chime in here, let me get our storm tracker on, and I'm just going to kind of take this leading edge of the storm. Lake Crystal, 720, Nicollet, 725, Mankato. We've kind of been hovering in that 730 to 740 range here with our storm tracks, but at about 737, St. Peter, 743, St. Clair at about 751. So we're looking at about another half hour before this thing starts to, and that's actually the Mankato airport. So probably not even a half hour, maybe another 20 minutes or so before this storm smacks into the western edge of Mankato.
And I was gonna, Derek, if you can switch to that live source computer, and have had a couple of people sharing some photographs here this evening, and you can do that, again, as Sean has mentioned, safely on our website, KEYC.com/photos. This photo is coming from Veronica from Madelia, and you can just kind of see the darker clouds that have been associated with these storms, and this photo was submitted before the storms even have arrived in the Madelia area. And also a picture from Tracy from Cortland, a little humor there with the storms with a Tigger doll watching out the window as the storms get ready to move through. But again, if you do have some photos, you can share them easily with us on our website at KEYC.com/photos. You can also upload them right through both our weather app and our news app at this time. As we do have severe thunderstorms that are pushing through the region. Again, producing some severe thunderstorms capable of producing winds in excess of 70 to 80 miles per hour, as well as some confirmed tornadoes, as we've had that confirmed tornado kind of in the Lafayette as well as the New Ulm area. And what we're actually seeing here, as we've talked about a couple of times now, is the National Weather Service is issuing warnings well out in advance of these storms so that people can seek shelter in a timely manner. And as we talked about a couple minutes ago, you want to put as many walls between you and the storm as you possibly can. That may mean a bathroom or certainly a windowless room, a closet, something like that. Certainly a basement is ideal, but you really want to have a room that doesn't have any windows. We have had, Sean, as you can attest to, kind of some unusual weather. We had the severe weather and tornadoes back in December. We had some severe weather back even in early March. Heartland was hit by that tornado back in December. It wasn't a terribly strong storm. It had winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour, and that's what these thunderstorms are capable of producing. They're moving quickly at around 50 to 60 miles per hour, and they also have winds of 70 miles per hour or so. So that's quite a bit of wind, quite a bit of energy in these storms to do some damage, and can certainly cause just as much damage, if not more damage, than a tornado can sometimes.
Yeah, saying that you had a tornado may seem a little more glamorous, but these damaging straight line wind gusts can do as much damage as a tornado, and it's actually more serious at times because a tornado is usually a small area, but these straight line wind events can mow down a large area, and so the damage can be more widespread. So don't take this lightly if you have a severe thunderstorm warning. These are now starting to become a little more serious. The wind is getting to be a bit stronger, and the potential for damage is...
Looks like we do have maybe a new tornado warning or a continuation of the tornado warning for Nicollet and Sibley County until 7:30.
We've got this one right here that...
Storm capable of producing a tornado was located near Gaylord, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, so that would be this particular storm cell right here. This is, is that this one? That might be, never mind. That's, I think I'm looking at the
kind of getting to
here.
the point where there's more warnings than you can keep track of.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Storm near Gaylord, northeast of New Ulm, moving to the northeast at about 45, and again, a potential tornado heading into the Gaylord area now. So if you are in Gaylord, Winthrop, anywhere there kind of along Highway 19, get yourself to a safe spot, get to shelter, because these storms are nothing to mess around with. We have had confirmed reports of tornadoes with these storms as they have moved in. Again, we are tracking storms here on KEYC. It is about 7:18 on Wednesday evening, and we're actually maybe dealing with more severe weather tomorrow night. It's going to be another very hot and humid day tomorrow. More severe storms possible late tomorrow into tomorrow night. This particular area right here, moving toward Mankato. You notice how this is starting to bulge out here just a little bit. That's an indication that we may be starting to see some of that wind pick up a little bit. Possibility there for 70-plus mile per hour wind gusts. This storm now getting closer and closer to Mankato. We're not that far away from Mankato. Lake Crystal won't be long. This is going to be heading to you. Judson, Nicollet won't be long for you either. This storm will start to roll in with, again, some very strong wind, very heavy rain possible with these storms as they move through Mankato. not far off here. We're talking probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes on the western edge, we're going to start to see that move in.
And a lot of times you do see those winds pick up even before the line of storms arrives in your area. You'll get the winds gusting to 40 to 50 miles per hour even before that line of storms actually starts to move in, before the rain arrives, before the thunder and lightning arrives.
Right, and I'm getting even more and more concerned about this. Mankato, be on the alert right now. I'm seeing a lot of really bright colors here in the velocity, and what's happening here is this line is surging, and it actually is speeding up just a little bit. We really could see some nasty wind moving into Mankato here in just the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Notice how this is bowing out. This is surging, and that's an indication that the wind speed is picking up. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking 70 to 80, maybe even closer to 90 mile per hour wind gusts here, pushing into the western side of Mankato in the next little while. Garden City, some very strong wind moving into you. Nicollet, it's not far away. We're going to see that strong wind kicking in for you as well. Mankato, on the alert now. We are going to see that storm, and there you go. There's a view from our camera. In fact, let me take a second here to pop up the camera and just kind of move it over just a little bit. You can notice that wind. Oh, there's the siren.
And you do get sometimes the county emergency management will blow the sirens in Mankato, North Mankato, and Blue Earth and Nicollet County for winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So there is no official tornado warning at this second for Mankato or North Mankato, but the emergency management is blowing the siren because of the possibility of 70 mile per hour winds or higher. This is a time to take this severe thunderstorm warning just as seriously as you would a tornado warning, because these straight line winds can produce just as much damage as a tornado can. You can certainly get large trees, roofs blown off of homes, things like that, yard items, patio furniture, things like that, trampolines blown around, and can certainly cause some damage as well. But this is our hilltop camera, kind of pointed off. It's located right near Bethany Lutheran College, and there we're kind of looking back towards the west, looking over the downtown area, and you can see some very dark clouds starting now to move into the Mankato area. This is kind of looking off more to the southwest a little bit. You can see some of the rain starting to push into the region as well. When we were looking right over downtown, that was kind of looking more straight to the west.
Yeah, look at this. Blue Earth County, 80 plus mile per hour wind gusts. If you are in Mankato, get to shelter now. This may not be a tornado, but we are talking 80 to 90 mile per hour straight line wind gusts blasting into the western edge of town here in just the next few minutes. A brand new severe thunderstorm warning, and this is a higher level type of severe thunderstorm warning that we have going on right now for Blue Earth County, including the St. Peter area, for actually southwestern Le Sueur, northern Blue Earth, southeastern Nicollet County. This is a dangerous situation, folks. If you are in Mankato, if you are in Nicollet, if you are anywhere along the western edge of this line right through here, I just mentioned how that was bowing out, and it looked like things were starting to pick up there. The National Weather Service now just issued a heightened severe thunderstorm warning, 80 plus mile per hour wind gusts as this thing moves into the west side of Mankato. You are hearing the sirens in North Mankato. Do Mankato and North Mankato go together?
Go off at the same time.
So in Mankato as well, and that is because we are expecting that 80 to 90 plus mile per hour wind to blast onto the west edge of town here in the next few minutes. So again, you have a little time, but not much.
I was going to say, I've been here 17 years, and this is the first time I've seen them issue this type of new warning that you were just mentioning, that they call a destructive thunderstorm damage threat is what they're calling it, with 80 mile per hour winds possible. And the Weather Service just letting us know they're calling special attention to the storm that is pushing into Blue Earth County here with 80 mile per hour winds or higher, certainly a possibility. So this is, again, not just because it's only a severe thunderstorm warning, don't say only severe thunderstorm warning. Take it just as seriously as you would a tornado warning. Put as many walls between you and the storm as you can. Get away from windows. Don't go outside, be taking pictures. This is a time to take the weather seriously.
Right. The National Weather Service talking about that if this were a tornado, it would be a low-end EF1 tornado that would be moving in here. So this is serious.
Wind now.
Right. All right, so we have a moment. I just want to kind of recap. I don't want to forget the rest of you who may be watching and wondering what the heck is going on for your neck of the woods. A potential tornado near Hutchinson. We have the possibility of a tornado in Sibley County around Gaylord. This destructive severe thunderstorm now moving into Blue Earth, Nicollet County, western LeSueur County. We also have a storm with the potential to produce tornadoes down around Fairmont. Still a tornado warning for parts of Martin and also for parts of southern Watonwan counties. More storms. Severe thunderstorm warning continues down around Esterville, moving towards Sway City, again for 60-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. But again, our most serious situation, and you can hear that wind is starting to pick up now, is what's happening in Mankato. There's a view from our camera live. Again, Mitch, you set up on the hilltop kind of by Bethany Lutheran College.
Yeah, this overlooks the right by the college. There's those cell phone towers that are right there that overlook the hill. So we're looking off to the south and the west. So if you move this more to the right, we'd kind of be overlooking downtown a little bit. And you can certainly see the camera shaking around quite a bit. We're hearing those strong wind gusts. You can see the clouds moving pretty quickly as well. As this thunderstorm with possible of 80-mile-per-hour winds is moving now through the Mankato area, and again can cause just as much damage as a very weak tornado. The National Weather Service explicitly calling out could see a damage similar to that of a low-end EF1 tornado or a high-end EF0 tornado, which is kind of around that 75 to 80 mile per hour range.
So yeah, this is a very serious situation. Again, west side of Mankato now. This is going to be moving from west to east across the city here over about the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. We're here in North Mankato on Lookout Drive, and we can hear that wind kicking in just very, very suddenly here.
And the rain hasn't even gotten here yet.
Yeah, and that'll happen a lot. Boy, it is really howling out there. Again, if you are in Mankato, if you are in North Mankato, St. Peter, get to a safe place, get to shelter now. There is a real potential for damage with wind gusts from 80 to possibly 90 miles per hour with this storm now on the very western edge of Mankato. So the TV station is right kind of in this area here, and we're just now starting to get the wind. So if you are over on the east side by the mall, if you are downtown, you're probably starting to see this on downtown. But if you are a little further east, you have about another couple of minutes. Get yourself to a safe place away from windows. The basement, ideally, but really just try to get walls in between you and the storm.
The National Weather Service now issuing a similar considerable damage thunderstorm warning for parts of LeSueur, Rice, and Scott County until 8:30. Also just coming in now 2 miles west of Vernon Center, the public reporting a funnel cloud at 7:26 was reported from the public to Blue Earth County Sheriff's Office, and it was 2 miles west of Vernon Center at around 7:26.
Again, a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for much of Nicollet, Blue Earth, parts of LeSueur counties. This is from now, at least for the next half hour, for extreme wind gusts in excess of 70 to 80 to 90 miles per hour here, and that does include the city of Mankato. Let's go back to our live radar here, and you can see this area of Bowie. We've kind of been talking about, as this was beginning to develop, how when you start to see these little areas surge out ahead, that's where we're going to be seeing that very, very strong wind. In fact, on 169 between Mankato and St. Peter, just a couple of areas that I want to highlight. This particular area right here, we may see some extreme wind gusts even higher than that 80 to 90 threshold here, with that little notch that's kind of bowing out from that line of thunderstorms. Also a little further south, let me get down here. We do have some notches kind of in here. Those are areas where we may see rotation. It is very possible that there could be a tornado embedded within this, but at this point, the rain is so heavy that you're not going to see it. So this is not the type of storm that you want to sit outside and look and wait to see before you take shelter. You want to get to shelter immediately. We are, again, now starting to get some very, very heavy rain here at the television station in North Mankato. The storm is moving across the city at this time. We're already starting to see our rain gauge.
Yeah, and here's what you've got going on. You've got a thunderstorm itself. Think of a car moving down the highway at 55, 60 miles per hour. Well, then you've got a thunderstorm with winds in it of 70 to 80 to 90 miles per hour, and that's why you're seeing the greens. Again, these are winds that are moving towards the radar site, but we're starting to see some of that showing up as kind of a blue and a white. Those are very strong winds, anywhere from probably 80 to 90 miles per hour being estimated by the radar.
I would even say possibly higher. St. Peter right now, if you are in St. Peter, this concerns me very much here. St. Peter, some very strong wind potentially moving in to town here in the next couple of minutes. If you are in St. Peter, some very strong wind possible for you. Mankato, and especially North Mankato, this strong wind is rolling in as we speak. Again, this is a dangerous storm. Don't take it lightly. Get to a safe place. I know a lot of times we hear severe thunderstorm warning and we think, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new level. This is a higher level severe thunderstorm warning with 80 to 90 plus mile per hour wind gusts possible. So get to a safe place, get to shelter. Be very, very careful. We also have a tornado warning that continues for McLeod and Sibley County. If you are in Arlington, there is a possible tornado over the Arlington area. Let me take you up here and get in a little closer. There's Arlington, Green Isle. We are tracking a storm here that could potentially be producing a tornado in the Arlington area. Along with that, some strong straight line wind also possible there along Highway 5 between Arlington and Green Isle. Again, this is going to continue to move to the northeast into that southwestern portion of the Twin Cities metro area here over the next while.
You are watching severe weather coverage on KEYC TV Mankato, as well as KMNF LD Mankato and K33MD Sherburne, with Chief Meteorologist Sean Cable, Mitch Keegan, News Director, Meteorologist, Jack of all trades. We do have our morning meteorologist, Caitlin Lohr, has been in the Jackson area. The National Weather Service is now issuing a tornado warning for Carver and Scott County, which is just outside of our viewing area. But a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was over Henderson, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. That warning is until 8:15. But right now we've kind of got this thunderstorm with winds in excess of 70 to 80 to 90 to maybe even near 100 miles per hour moving through the Mankato, St. Peter area. Certainly can cause damage, as you were talking about, Sean, similar to what a weaker tornado can do.
Yeah, this is nothing to mess around with. Get to a safe place and stay there until this storm passes. This can do, when you're talking wind gusts, straight line wind gusts in excess of 80 to 90 miles per hour, this can do the same kind of damage that an EF1 tornado can do, but it's almost worse. I mean, it's a situation where the damage can be much more widespread. A tornado is usually confined to that area, however, many yards wide that tornado path is. But this, we may see extensive damage over, the course of a mile or two. I mean, it could or even more. So it's not impossible to see some significant damage. And we saw this with that derecho down in Iowa a couple, earlier last year. And, this isn't that widespread, but we're talking that kind of wind from, 80 to possibly 90 miles per hour, and that can do significant damage as it rolls through.
And the National Weather Service is continuing that special case severe thunderstorm warning that does include parts of Blue Earth, Faribault, and Martin counties until 8:15, again, for winds of 70 miles per hour or higher, as well as 1 inch or quarter size hail. Again, because of that storm that's essentially moving right now through Mankato, not yet to the places in southern parts of Blue Earth County, down towards places like Mapleton. You head into places like Minnesota Lake, which is on the Blue Earth Faribault County line. St. Clair, kind of a heads up to you to be eventually seeking shelter, as well as out towards Madison Lake. Folks along Lake Washington need to be getting in their safe space as well. We've said it before, but again, you really want to put as many walls between you and the storm as you can. Places like a bathroom, a closet. Avoid windows is really the best thing that you can do right now to stay safe from this storm, as it can be producing winds maybe in excess of 90 miles per hour as it is moving right now between St. Peter and the Mankato area, producing some heavy rainfall as well as those strong winds. The wind isn't where we're seeing the yellows and the oranges on the radar. That's the rainfall. That's not the wind. That's not the worst part of the storm. We kind of mentioned it. The wind started picking up well before that line got to the Mankato area. So that wind gust line is kind of on the eastern edge of Mankato, if not closing in past Highway 22 right now. So those winds are gusting out ahead of this thunderstorm, and it's going to be causing some damage before the rain actually starts to arrive.
Yeah, this may actually be, sometimes you'll get just a little bit of a trail on the radar ahead of the storm where the wind actually is first, and that is probably that little line right there. So we may be starting to see some of that stronger wind already, just a couple of miles away from Janesville, moving toward Waterville, Waseca. It's not going to be much longer before that wind rolls in and impacts you as well. I mean, there is a fairly it's a very strong wind that's going to be moving in, and it is definitely ahead of that main band of rainfall. You can see east right now, St. Peter, Mankato, very heavy rain falling, a very strong wind continues to blow. In fact, let me go back. I want to pop up my
While you're looking at that, I was going to, just as a little inside weather talk, looking at observations that are coming in a couple minutes from the Mankato airport. At 7:27, they were reporting a gust of 39 miles per hour with thunder and squalls. It's not something you usually see reported in southern Minnesota.
That's not an everyday thing. Rain is coming down heavily. The initial blast of strong straight line wind has now pushed through the western edge of Mankato, now through North Mankato. Still very heavy rain, but that line of thunderstorms now continues to move off to the east, moving toward Janesville, moving toward Waseca here in the next little while. Let me turn our storm tracker on here and kind of give you an idea as to where this line is headed. And again, keep in mind that we may see some of this strong wind hit before the actual rain hits. Eagle Lake at 7:45, Janesville at about 8:02, Waterville at 8:07. A little further to the south, let's track this line here. Mapleton around 7:51, Minnesota Lake close to 8:02, and once again we're starting to see another one of these bowing features on this line of storms here just a little further to the south. Let me turn the velocity on here for just a bit. Some stronger wind possible down in the Fairmont area, but also near Blue Earth down toward Fairmont. Not as strong as the line going through Mankato, but there could be 60 to possibly 70 mile per hour wind gusts going through there. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for this particular area as well. This is for Blue Earth, Faribault, and Martin counties, and this remains in effect until 8:15 this evening. This storm could produce 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So really we're dealing with this strong wind up and down this line, but again, the strongest wind with these storms moving through St. Peter and Mankato. Notice these little bulges that we see here. Those are areas, localized areas, where we may see very localized 90 to 100 mile per hour wind gusts. So again, if you are in these areas, get to a safe place. Treat this the way you would treat a tornado warning, because this can do just as much damage. Mitch, we have a brand new tornado warning that just popped up
for Rice and LeSueur counties until 8:15
This is a radar indicated rotation, but once again, it's tough to actually pick out the physical tornado when you're dealing with so much rain in this storm. So not only tornado threat, but also a damaging straight line wind threat with wind gusts. Again, we're talking that 80 to possibly 90 plus mile per hour range. This particular storm is moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. There's been a lot of variation in the speeds. They've been kind of speeding up and slowing down here through the evening. This one, let me get our storm tracker out and just kind of give you an idea as to where this will be. La Center at 746, New Prague at 753, the Lonsdale area closer to around 8:03 this evening. Mankato still getting pounded with some very, very heavy rain. St. Peter also dealing with some very strong wind and some very heavy rain as well. The Lake Crystal area, all these areas dealing with some significant wind and rain here this evening.
And just looking at that same report from the Mankato Municipal Airport, latest wind gust so far coming in is 56 miles per hour. That was at 7:30.
Again, if you are in the path of these storms, get to a safe place. Treat them as you would treat a tornado warning. I know Mankato, it is a severe thunderstorm warning, but it is a level above your typical 60 mile per hour wind, quarter hail severe thunderstorm warning, which is what they are a lot of times. And it's kind of frustrating because then when you do get a really serious storm, folks don't really take it as seriously. But this is a serious storm. This line of storms from now north of St. Peter down to Mankato is producing 80 to 90 plus mile per hour wind gusts. There could be some localized areas
Sean,
where we see up to
look at this.
100 mile per hour wind.
This is on Lake Valentine, which is out by Madison Lake.
Oh, wow.
Guys in the control room, if you want to, thank you. So this is submitted to our website, KEYC.com/photos. This is what is technically a water spout on Lake Valentine, again, out by Madison Lake. I'll play it again. This was, get it a second here to load, submitted by Ramona. Oh, she looks like she sent us a couple videos. Let me go back. Looks like the page keeps reloading. Here we go. Sorry, this one is submitted by Dana, taken from the west side of Lake Valentine. You can kind of see, there she zooms in there, you can see thank you. I'm going to make that bigger there. What you can see there are technically water spouts, or those are what are tornadoes over the water. I'm going to let this, whoops, it keeps closing on me. So again, that's what we get with these thunderstorms as they move through. Very strong winds and even some tornadoes over the water on Lake Valentine.
Yeah, folks, near St. Peter, Mankato, now that line of thunderstorms continues to move to the east. We have several tornado warnings. Let me just back off and kind of recap for anyone who may be joining in. I know that a lot of times as these storms move in, you see the dark clouds. You run to the TV to check in and see what the heck is going on here. We have a line of severe thunderstorms from about St. Cloud all the way down to the western Twin Cities metro area to Mankato, and then down into parts of northern Iowa in the Sway City, and eventually we'll get to the Algona area. We have a number of warnings that are in effect. The pink are tornado warnings. The yellow are severe thunderstorm warnings. Both of them are serious business at this point. You know, a lot of times tornado warnings take precedence, and a lot of folks think that those tornado warnings are a much bigger issue. Do we have rotation down by Trimont? Is that earlier this evening?
Well, it says the time is estimated based off the radar.
So tornado warnings in effect for the Hutchinson area over to Belle Plaine, moving into the western Twin Cities metro, St. Peter area, and east of St. Peter, we have this tornado warning here that's in effect for parts of Le Sueur and Rice County. This is in effect here until about, 8:15 this evening for a potential tornado and some large hail and damaging straight line wind gusts. New Prague, Lonsdale in the path of this storm. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for LeSueur, Scott, western Rice counties. That's in effect until 8:30, 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. And you'll notice that the storm hasn't even started to enter this box. And that's because the National Weather Service wants to make sure, these storms are moving very quickly, and they want to make sure you have plenty of notice, plenty of time to get to a safe place before these storms get to you. This one has been kind of slowing up and hanging around the Mankato area for a while. We have this severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for much of Blue Earth County, LeSueur, Nicollet County. This is in effect until 8 o'clock. Again, destructive wind gusts of 80-plus miles per hour possible as the storm now moves over the eastern side of Mankato and further east into Blue Earth County. And again, this is not over. This storm continues to move to the east. The strongest part of the storm now moving into the eastern side of Mankato. In fact, let me put up our camera out on the hilltop one more time so you can kind of see what's going on. That is the camera looking to kind of to the northwest, and you can see a lot of lightning with this particular storm as well.
And what is happening, as you noted, the storm is slowing down a little bit, and what happens is you see that happening, it continues to rain heavily, you get the chance of flash flooding developing. You know, you get heavy rain moving over the same area, doesn't allow time for drainage to happen, and so you can get some street flooding, some minor flooding happening, and parking lots and streets, kind of the common areas where there is some flooding. And so that's maybe a concern here, especially as the storm is kind of slowly making its way now through the Mankato area. The winds, again, as we've talked about, are gusting out ahead of that line of the thunderstorms. The strong winds are, you know, a good 5 minutes or so before the heavy rain actually arrives. That's kind of the more dangerous part of the storm. It's what's called a gust front. You're getting the storm kind of having those strong winds gust out in front of the line of the thunderstorms as they move off very quickly off to the east and to the northeast at around 50 to 55 miles per hour.
I do want to just take a moment to talk a little bit about what's going on to the south of Mankato. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Mapleton area. This is until 8:15, 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts possible here. And even though we are saying 70-plus, you get, again, some of these little areas that we have these little bumps that are kind of poking out here. You get into there, and we may actually be dealing with some stronger wind gusts. So again, that's something else that we are going to continue to watch here through the evening here. There could be some localized areas of stronger wind kind of embedded within these storms. Storms continue to drift southward, south of Fairmont. If you are in Blue Earth, a particularly strong storm going to be moving into your neck of the woods here. Again, 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. Blue Earth, Bryceland, a good chunk of Faribault and Martin County included in this warning that's in effect here until 8:15. And then we do have another warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter hail with this storm that's moving into Sway City down in Iowa. Not as much happening with those storms that are located down to the south. But further north, we do have a lot going on here. Notice that there are a lot of places along this line where we have little areas of rotation, and it's not out of the question to see, you know, quick little spin-ups or quick developing tornadoes pop up along this line as that line of thunderstorms moves through. And let me turn the loop on here. This is over the past 30 minutes, and something that you'll kind of notice that's happening is that the rain, as the storms move east, the storm cells are kind of sliding along the line here, moving from southwest to northeast, and you're getting a lot of rain over the same areas. And that, again, as Mitch mentioned earlier, will be a contributing factor to flash flooding. We've had a lot of moisture. I'm sure you've recognized the humidity out there today. With all that moisture in the air, today especially, storms are prone to producing some very heavy rain and the possibility of flash flooding. If you're in Mapleton or Waseca, anywhere along and east of this line, if you haven't done it yet, double check to make sure that that sump pump is plugged in and it's ready to go, because there is the possibility that you end up with some flash flooding or some water in the basement.
Derek, if you want to put up our other computer source, thanks. So, Sean, you were just talking about brief spin-ups can happen on these thunderstorms. So, take you back. We showed you this just a couple minutes ago. This coming in from Dana, submitted right through our website, KEYC.com/photos. This from Lake Valentine, which is out by Madison Lake, the city of Madison Lake, one of the lakes right there. This is essentially what is a tornado on the lake. You can kind of see there's actually two of them. You can see the rotation, the water kind of being sucked up in a condensation funnel. Again, that was being connected as that thunderstorm activity was pushing through the area here. I'm going to try to back that up before it closes on me, and it didn't work. But you get the general idea. These are very quickly spinning up can certainly cause some damage. That one was luckily over the water, so that's what we call a water spout, or it's a tornado over the water. Those, if they form over land, would be then considered a tornado, and can certainly cause just as much damage. And this line of thunderstorms, as it is moving off to the northeast at around 50 to 60 miles per hour, is producing winds of 70 to 80 to 90 miles per hour. You combine those two motions and you can get quite a bit of damage possibility. So again, thank you to everyone who has submitted photos through our website, again, KEYC.com. You can do that through the weather app. You can do that through the news app as well. Make it pretty easy to get those photos to us and share those. And again, thanks to Dana for capturing that water spout and showing. That's again, it just shows you how quickly things can spin up. There wasn't officially a tornado warning in effect for this thunderstorm, but that is technically a tornado over the water. It's a water spout.
Well, and you'll notice too, there are a lot of tornado warnings to our north now. We have a tornado warning in effect for locations east of St. Peter, kind of up toward Faribault, but Twin Cities metro area dealing with potential tornadoes now. I know that Allianz Field, they have something going on up there, and they have a stadium full of fans, and they're trying to get them to shelter now because the storm is moving in so very, very quickly. So a lot of stuff happening here tonight as we watch these storms move through. Again, the Mankato area.
I was just going to say it.
I'm sorry, I turned my mic off so I could drink my water here. Sorry about that.
At 7:44, there was a wind gust of 60 miles per hour reported at the Mankato airport.
So some very strong wind, and the rain continues to come down. We have we're pushing almost about 45 hundredths of an inch. It'll be a half inch here before long.
Yeah, it's 4/10 right now, but with it being so windy, it's hard to collect it in the rain gauge.
Yeah, that is always kind of tough. Some very heavy rain continues. All right, so let me take you through this line of storms. Again, we have severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings from the Twin Cities all the way down to Mankato. And I know that for some of you, the storm has passed and you're thinking, well, shut the heck up, get off my TV, I want to watch. I don't know I don't even know what the heck is on right now, but
what day is? I don't know.
It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday.
Okay.
But we are going to stay on the air to make sure folks know what's going on. That's our job. We're not here because we like to hear ourselves talk. I'm already starting to lose my voice, and I'd love to be able to stop right now. But we have a lot of folks that are watching and in our coverage area that still have these storms to move through, and we have to stay on and make sure that everybody gets the information that they need. So take a look. Right now in Mankato, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect. That's for another, won't be long. This warning expires at about 8:15, so we still have a little time left with this. But again, some very strong 70 to 80 plus mile per hour wind gusts and some very heavy rain possible in the Mankato area, Eagle Lake, St. Clair, Pemberton, Madison Lake. A lot of areas here included. St. Peter, you are also dealing with a fairly significant situation. Now mostly to the east over toward Montgomery, Cordova. We're going to see these storms continue to move east toward New Prague and eventually over to I-35. But again, some very strong wind, potentially a tornado or two with these storms. But again, it's kind of hard to see just because there's so much rain associated with these storms. Again, potential tornado with those. Let me take you a little further to the south. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Mapleton area. This remains in effect until 8:15 as well. 80-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. We have this big warning polygon here further to the south, and this one is for severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of Blue Earth, all of Faribault, and parts of Martin County as well. Blue Earth, Keister, the Wells area, we're talking wind gusts to 70-plus miles per hour with that storm. And then even further down to the south, and again, this is one of those warnings down here that's kind of minimal criteria, severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter hail. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be on the alert in Sway City, but you're not dealing with the same kind of situation that folks in St. Peter or Waseca or Janesville are dealing with at this point.
And there's a ham radio operator in the Gaylord area saying on the east side of town some flagpoles being bent over at 45-degree angles or pulled up due to some of those strong wind gusts that move through the Gaylord area.
Well, if it's a Perkins or a Camping World flag, I would understand. Those flags are big and heavy, but that's impressive. Tornado warnings continue again from the western Twin Cities metro, almost into, actually it does include Hennepin County right now, all the way down to Lakeville and down to Faribault. These storms will be moving through and out of here in the next couple of hours. But again, as of right now, a fairly serious situation as these storms with potentially some very strong wind continue to push to the east. Another area here, I want to just pop something up. I guess our velocity isn't as impressive, but we are starting to see another area with a little bit of bowing out here, kind of in the Mapleton area. There could be some stronger wind there, 70 to 80 plus mile per hour wind for folks there. But again, right now, I think our strongest wind and most serious situation is east of St. Peter, kind of up in that tornado-warned area here in LeSueur and Rice County. That's where we do have some very strong wind happening right now. And again, Mankato getting some very heavy rain. I think
we've already surpassed a half inch, so it didn't take long to have a tenth of an inch of rain fall. From what at least the rain gauge can pick up, even with the strong wind.
You know, those are some fairly impressive rain rates. So, I mean, we're going to be talking rainfall amounts of 2 to 3 inches, I think, in some places by the time this is all over and done with. And we've even noticed a bit of a slowdown in the system right kind of over the top of Mankato. So we're going to be dealing with this wind here for a little while yet. Wind and rain probably for at least the next half hour or so before we start to see things moving out. And by the way, if you are on the backside of the system, Springfield, the Sanborn Corners area, down toward Windham, Redwood Falls, if you have any damage or anything to report, please let us know. You can send a tweet or you can send it to and go to our website and submit your reports there. We want to know what's going on. We want to make sure we get a lot of viewers that want to know if folks are safe.
Coming in here from the newsroom, we've got over 4,000 people in the Mankato, St. Clair, Lake Crystal, Vernon Center area reporting power outage due to those strong winds. Obviously causing some tree damage, some power lines being knocked down. So unfortunately, those folks have lost power. Certainly, our coverage of severe weather does continue through our news app as well as our weather app. You can watch live if you've lost power at your home to continue to keep your friends and family that maybe have lost power informed. They can certainly continue to keep updated with our coverage there as well if they've lost power.
Some very heavy rain still coming down, and there is a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning with these storms as well. That's
I think we're already over 0.6 of an inch of rain.
We have thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Lonsdale. If you are near Lonsdale, get to a safe place. Potential for some strong wind or a tornado in that general vicinity. Also some very strong wind. We've got a report here of some large new construction blown down in the city of Madelia in Watonwan County. That is I guess a report that came in as well. So a lot of reports coming in. Again, if you are still dealing with the weather, don't go out into this. Wow, that is impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. Probably close to 7/10 of an inch of rain already.
It is coming down very, very heavily. By the way, we do have a tornado watch that remains in effect for much of southern Minnesota, parts of northern Iowa, until midnight tonight. Now, pretty good bet that we will see this whittled away from the west here over the next couple of hours. But as of right now, this tornado watch remains in effect. It includes Mankato, Waseca, Rochester, Red Wing, Belle Plaine, the Twin Cities, into western Wisconsin through midnight tonight. We will definitely be here keeping an eye on things as these storms continue to develop. But again, right now, several tornado and several severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect. I think the most significant part of this storm is impacting the Twin Cities metro area, moving into Minneapolis, Lakeville, folks west and northwest of Faribault, along Highway 13 right now. That's where the strongest part of these storms are. Mankato, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for about another 15 minutes. And again, we are still dealing with wind gusts pushing the 70-plus mile per hour range, although things are starting to back off, I think, a little bit. Let's go back to our computer with the pictures on it.
Yeah, I've got a couple pictures here. I'm gonna leave it a little bit smaller so I can move through them quickly. This is from Steph from near Trimont. You can see very large, looks like a evergreen or a pine tree being knocked over, but you can see the root system being knocked over or pulled out of the ground with it. She sent us a couple of pictures. Looks like maybe some wind damage there, taking down half of that tree. You can see the large root system being pulled down with this tree, again in the Trimont area. Some very strong winds being reported earlier this evening. Looks like a portion of a tree falling on a building at their place. Looks like this is a photo from Monty, taken 3 miles north of Cortland. Certainly some darker clouds, can't necessarily tell that they're in contact with the ground, but certainly some ominous looking sky. This is a photo from Perry, also taken north of Cortland. You can see, again, the strong winds blowing some dust around, making for some lower visibility. Paul sharing this photo with us of a snapshot of the weather data at the Gustavus weather station, where at 7:36 they had a wind gust of 78 miles per hour as that thunderstorm activity was moving through the region. Again, some dark clouds being shared by Deborah in New Ulm. And here is, this one's a little interesting. This is from Andy, taken 3 miles east of Klossner at around 7 o'clock tonight. I'm going to play this one, so bear with me as this loads here in the background. But you can see very similar to our water spout on Lake Valentine. This looks like this could potentially be the beginnings of a tornado. From around 7 o'clock near Klossner earlier this evening. Certainly some strong winds, some rotation attempting out of those storms to make connection with the ground earlier. And here's some damage from, I scrolled too far, sorry about that. Here it is, from a tree in North Mankato from Kelsey sharing that, the wind taking off about the top half of that evergreen tree in the North Mankato area, and then again some darker skies from Pamela as she looked at Iowa Lake moving to the northeast of Fairmont there. Again, so thanks to everyone for sharing your photos with us. Again, you can easily do that in the KEYC.com on the photo page, or of course through the mobile app and our weather app as well. There's an easy way to share those photos right there.
And we have a live picture here from Gustavus Adolphus College, where the rain is still coming down. It is heavy rain that is falling here. Let me switch. There's another camera over there, and you can see a lot of rain coming down in that area. This is actually not Gustavus. This is Bethany Lutheran College, and a lot of heavy rain coming down in that general vicinity as well. In Mankato, we're over a half. What did you say? Are we about
at least 8/10?
at least 0.8 of an inch of rain falling here at KEYC in North Mankato right now. So a lot going on there. Storms continue to develop and move through. Let me put our live Doppler back up again so you can see where the storms are. Several severe thunderstorm warnings. Still several tornado warnings that remain in effect as well. The strongest part of this line now moving into the Twin Cities metro area where there are several tornado warnings that are in effect. There are tornado warnings for Scott, Carver County extending all the way down to near Faribault into LeSueur and Rice County, where that tornado warning remains in effect here for about another 10 minutes. For our general vicinity now, we are looking at 70 to 80 plus mile per hour wind gusts. This is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning in effect, just issued for parts of Steele and Waseca counties. And once again, 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts possible as this line of thunderstorms moves east from Mankato toward I-35. And things have slowed down a little bit. But again, some very heavy rain possible with these storms as they continue to push off to the northeast. And again, we are seeing these storms kind of moving out of Mankato now. They hung around for a while. Now on the eastern edge with that heavy rain moving toward Janesville, Waldorf, won't be long, Waterville, Waseca. We'll see these storms moving in. And again, we're talking 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts, so this is nothing to mess with.
That strong wind ought to be moving into Waseca very shortly.
Yeah, actually, that is true. Let me switch over here, and you can see, actually, it's probably there right now. If you see this little bit of green that's pushing out just ahead of this line of thunderstorms, this stuff right here, that is actually the leading edge where the strong wind is. So Waseca, probably starting to feel that strong wind now. The rain will get there probably 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes from now, but the strong wind is likely blasting into the west side of Waseca as we speak. Further south, Minnesota Lake, about to see some of that heavy rain. Blue Earth, it won't be long for you. We're going to start to see some of that heavy rain moving into the Blue Earth area as well. So be prepared. It is coming. We are going to see that heavy rain moving in here in the next little while.
And what is of note, you know, we did have that tornado watch was issued earlier. It was originally until 9 o'clock, then it was extended until midnight. Now out in the far western counties in the viewing area, the counties are being dropped from the tornado watch as that threat of severe weather is really essentially along and east of Highway 169 at this point.
Yeah, basically that's where we stand at this point. You can see now St. James, Springfield, Redwood Falls still in that watch, but I'm fairly certain that as we head into the next couple of hours, we're going to see more and more tiers of counties kind of whittled away from the western edge of this. I think that really our KEYC News Now coverage area, which basically covers, you know, a little east of I-35 through around here. I think that the eastern edge probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock, probably most folks who watch us will be clear of a lot of this. We probably have about another hour or so to go before a lot of these storms have moved out of our neck of the woods. But we're still nothing to take lightly, still some very strong 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts happening with these storms as they continue to develop and move to the east, Mitch.
So we had some of those reports of power outage in the St. Clair area as well as parts of Mankato, Vernon Center. Now some more power outages being reported in Truman, Madelia, as well as Good Thunder and Mapleton. And then also through the National Weather Service, a storm spotter, emergency manager, is reporting some flash flooding in Hutchinson, Brownton, and Glencoe. Some of the water's starting to recede, but it was kind of, you know, the storm drains not being able to catch up with that heavy rain as it started to push through, so you're kind of getting some of that street flooding. But nonetheless, some very heavy rain pushing through the region, as well as these strong winds. As we've been watching, you know, Sean just showed us a little bit ago, kind of that gust front, if you will, pushing through the New Ulm area. Or I should say Waseca area, causing some strong winds moving through that area right now.
Yeah, again, let's just kind of recap things here. It is 8:06 now, and you are watching severe weather coverage on KEYC. And you know these numbers and letters, 33 QKP.
KEYC TV Mankato, KMNF LD Mankato, and K33MW Sherburne, all collectively known as KEYC News Now.
You should have made me memorize all that before I started here. We do have a line of severe thunderstorms that continues to move eastward into the Twin Cities metro area. In fact, Minneapolis-St. Paul now, for folks who maybe, I believe the Twins are supposed to be playing tonight. Yeah. The Minneapolis-St. Paul area has 80 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts blowing into downtown Minneapolis right now. Our closest tornado warning is this one right here to the north of Minnesota Highway 60, west of I-35. This is in effect here until, let me pop it up here, until 8:15 for parts of LeSueur and Rice County. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of LeSueur, Rice, and Scott counties until 8:30. We just had
There's a new thunderstorm warning for parts of Blue Earth and Faribault counties until 8:45.
That would be, did this pop up on the map here? Is that this one right here? No.
And okay, that's outside of our area.
I have this one for Steele and Waseca County that is in effect until 8:45. Blue Earth still remains in effect here until this one until 8:15. They may have, did they just extend that one?
No, there's a new, this is new, 8:45.
Oh, okay, Blue Earth, Faribault County, until 8:45. But we're starting to see the wind threshold decrease a little bit with some of these storms. This one now, Blue Earth, 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts, which is, that's, you can handle that. That is kind of the lower criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning, but we still actually have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect too for parts of Blue Earth, LeSueur, Nicollet County. This one for about another 5 minutes. This one still for 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts. Now moving out of Mankato, things are slowly starting to improve. But again, we are going to continue to watch these lines of thunderstorms as they move to the east. But 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts, we're not dealing with the 80 plus mile per hour gusts that we were dealing with as these storms approach to the western edge of Mankato and St. Peter. But still, serious storms continue to move from west to east toward I-35, Faribault, Owatonna. Storms are moving your general direction here at about 60 or so miles per hour. And if we use our storm tracker here, we will kind of give you an idea as to when these storms are going to be sliding in. Let me run that storm to the east. Waseca at about 8:23, even though the strong wind is likely already kind of knocked into that western edge of town. New Richland, 8:35. Owatonna at 8:40, and then across Interstate 35 to Kenyon at about 8:52. Storms a little further to the south for Blue Earth at 8:14. Wells, 8:27. Bryceland at around 8:35. Keister at approximately 8:42. We're at just under an inch of rain here, probably 95 hundredths or so of an inch of rain at KEYC Television in North Mankato. Things are starting to look a little better here in the city of Mankato. The wind is slowly starting to die down. The rain is letting up just a little bit, but still a lot of dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning out there, and there are still a lot of places where we have a fairly significant amount of heavy rain that continues to come down.
And I've got some new photos to share. We've got folks have shared some new photos with us, so we'll run through those here quickly. Nathan sharing this picture from near the Minnesota State University campus of a tree fell down in his front yard, nearly hitting that window there. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing that. Tina sharing a picture of a tree down on Viola Street. I believe that's also in Mankato. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that. Lois in Esterville sharing a tree branch that was knocked down there. It looks like some water ponding on the streets in the Esterville area here as these thunderstorms have moved through. Quite a bit of lightning from Zachary in the New Ulm vicinity. And fortunately, a swing set suffered some damage as the wind moved through here in Mankato. This from Raynell sharing that I'm sorry, this is North Mankato, of the swing set being taken out by the tree that fell on it as those strong winds. Again, we had a wind gust at the airport of, I think I said 60 miles per hour or so.
Somewhere in there.
But certainly some strong wind gusts nonetheless. And, just here submitted about 7 minutes ago or so from Vicky in St. James, where the sun is starting to come out as the storms have moved through. And a nice photo of some, looks like potentially a wall cloud from Alyssa in Wyndham from earlier. And now the photos that we shared with you earlier from Steph and Tremont of those trees that were knocked down. But certainly some very strong winds, some very heavy rainfall pushing through the region. The wind and the rain are starting to let up here in the North Mankato area at the station, which is good. But unfortunately for some of our folks in the eastern portions and southern portions of Blue Earth County and then down into Faribault County, the storm is still moving through. And folks in Waseca County, the storm is yet to arrive.
Yeah, we are just watching the eastern edge of this line of thunderstorms moving toward Waseca and toward Highway 60. Probably the next 10 to 15 minutes, even though you've already probably had some of that stronger wind kick in, the rain and a lot of the lightning going to start to roll in here in the next probably 5 to 10 minutes or so. Right now, just west of Waseca along Highway 14, near Janesville, that's where that line of rain is beginning to move in. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings. We're not talking about the same 80-plus mile per hour wind that we had as these storms approached the western edge of Mankato, but we're still dealing with 70-plus mile per hour wind gusts, and that is a big deal. That can still do some damage. We're not done yet. It's still possible that we could see a spin up or two within this line of thunderstorms as well. So for those of you in Waseca, Waldorf, New Richland, Owatonna, up and down I-35, don't take this lightly. Strong storms continue to push eastward. They're going to be moving into your neck of the woods here in the next short while. Further south, Minnesota Lake, now just starting to get some of that rain, some stronger wind perhaps moving in as well. Wells, Blue Earth, now just starting to see some of that rain in Blue Earth. Keister area, Bryceland, we're going to see this heavy rain move into your area as well. In addition to the heavy rain, 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts possible along this line as it moves from Faribault County further east toward Elbert Lee. So again, we're not done. We still have some strong wind gusts. Several severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect up and down this line from southern edge, actually from the Twin Cities, where they are getting some very strong wind right now, all the way down through Faribault to west of Waseca, Mapleton, Blue Earth into northern portions of Iowa. And as you mentioned, Mitch, yeah, the sun is starting to come out a little further to the west, out around St. James, Wyndham, and Slayton.
And some good news, Sean, is out of the immediate KEYC News Now coverage area, there are officially no tornado warnings. However, we do have, as you were just alluding to, several severe thunderstorm warnings that still remain in effect, and we can still get very brief spin-ups of weak tornadoes, as we saw with those two videos that you, the viewer, submitted to us from Lake Valentine out near Madison Lake and also near Klossner in Nicollet County. Very weak, brief spin-ups of weak tornadoes are certainly a possibility with this line of storms, as it kind of does tend to bow out. It does look like there is concern in the Twin Cities metro area for some very strong winds as that storm system is moving through that area. But in our area, we're talking about some heavy rain, still some strong winds, 60, 70, maybe 80 miles per hour. And hail, a little bit of a concern for us as well, but no official tornado warnings in the KEYC News Now area, but where you do see those counties, the boxes in yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings, which do continue here through 8:30 to 8:45 across the eastern portions of the viewing area.
Since these are not as extreme, these warnings are not as, they're kind of a little, 60 to 70, 75 mile per hour wind gusts here. Let's run through these and see how things go. If we don't see anything really start to intensify here, we may be able to go back to programming for a little while. But I do want to just run through these warnings one more time to give you an idea as to what is going on. We still have this warning till 8:30 for Le Sueur. It's actually for Le Sueur, Scott, and western Rice County until 8:30. This one for 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. This storm continues to move to the east to northeast at right around 50 or so miles per hour. So still some very strong wind associated with these particular storms. Our storm tracker, as I put that in and move it off to the east here, we're looking at 8:31 at Faribault. We're going to see 8:38 Walcott and Wheeling at about 8:41. Now, a little further to the south, this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Steele County and Waseca County. This goes until 8:45. Once again, 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible. And along with that, we've been seeing little spin-ups, little tornadic spin-ups within this line. But really, the straight-line wind is the big issue here. It could do some widespread damage.
And there was just a 68-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Waseca Airport.
All right, so Waseca, this is now rolling in. And notice the rain. The rain really hasn't even made it into Waseca yet. So the wind does kind of go in advance of the line of storms a few miles. And that wind will hit you first before you start to see that rain. The storm continues to push off to the east. We're once again looking at about 40 to 50-ish miles per hour with this particular storm. If we use our storm tracker on this one, let me run this along the line here. The rain, again, the wind will kick in a little before the rain, but the rain will get to Waseca at about 8:27, into Medford at 8:39, Owatonna at 8:48, Meriden at 8:36. And then further south, this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for parts of Faribault and Blue Earth County until 8:45. And this one for severe storms with wind gusts about 60 with penny-sized hail associated with these particular storms. And these are, again, moving off to the east at a pretty good clip. We're moving it around 50 to 55 or so miles per hour. And so if we use our storm tracker on this line of storm cells, we're going to see these moving into Minnesota Lake at about 8:23, Wells at 8:35, New Richland 8:41, Keister at right around 8:50. So some pretty strong storms, although overall they seem to be kind of weakening compared to where they were a little earlier in the evening when we had those 80-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts moving in to the Mankato area. I know, Mitch, you have a few more photos and things over here.
Just looking over a couple new photos that have come into our website. Thanks, guys. So this is a photo from Andy. This is from west of Winnebago, he says, and I'm going to see, there we go, made it bigger. So let me see if I can back this up.
Oh, did I mess that up for you?
No, you're fine. But you can certainly see some, the wind causing some blowing, reducing the visibility, and certainly lots of cloud to ground lightning. I'll play that one more time. We'll go back. The other photo I wanted to share with you was, this is coming in from Carla in Janesville. You can see some of the, I believe these are shingles being lifted up on a roof there with the winds coming through the Janesville area as the storms rolled through here this evening. And also some dark clouds. And here's another picture from Tina on Viola Street of essentially a tree that's been obliterated by those strong winds being snapped away as that has moved through. And again, I want to scroll back down to, oh, here's a new video. This is from Rick. There's construction going on at the hospital here in Mankato. Mm-hmm. So Rick is sharing, I haven't viewed this, so Rick is sharing a video of the cranes at the hospital blowing in the wind as it moved through the region here. as those thunderstorms move through. Again, we had a wind gust of 60 miles per hour reported at the Mankato airport, but certainly just because the wind was measured at 60 miles per hour at the Mankato airport doesn't mean that the wind was only 60 miles per hour as it moved through the heart of the city. As I'm sure everyone knows, the Mankato airport is on about 2 miles or 3-4 miles or so northeast of downtown Mankato, as kind of the crow flies. But again, certainly lots of strong winds pushing through. Here's a photo from Ellie Rose showing rain gauge there. Looks like about 2.5 inches or so of rain in that rain gauge. No location on that picture though. But again, we've had quite a bit of damage being reported around the area. Here's another photo. This is from Rachel in Lake Crystal at around 7 o'clock. Again, with those strong winds pushing through the region. As this video loads, you can certainly see dust from the farm fields being picked up as the thunderstorms push through the region, causing, again, some wind damage across parts of the region. One I wanted to show again was our what we suspected was, there's our tree damage again from the Trimont area. I wanted to show our water spout from Lake Valentine, and then here's that other one that we got from Andy near Klossner of what looks to be very possibly a brief spin up of a tornado in a farm field there from about 3 miles east of Klossner at around 7 o'clock this evening. You can see some of that dust swirling as that thunderstorm makes its way through the rural portions of Nicollet County there. And again, some tree damage being reported. I'm trying to find that video of the water spout just because it was interesting to see.
Here, you look for that. Let's go back to the radar here for just a second while he checks that out. And I think that here by 8:30, we're going to be able to go back to our programming and get you back into your shows because things are starting to wind down a little bit. We still have some fairly strong storms. Severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect for the Faribault area. This is for 70-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Steele and Waseca County until 8:45. But again, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, possibly some small hail moving in with these storms. The storms now moving into the western edge of Waseca. Won't be long, New Richland, and before you know it, Owatonna. We are not that far away. Minnesota Lake, Wells, all the way down to Blue Earth now, getting some very heavy rain with some strong wind gusts up to 60, 70 miles per hour possible along I-90, west to east there. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Sway City, Iowa as well for a storm that could produce 60 miles per hour, but it looks like that thing is pretty much over and done with here as well. Again, we're going to continue to watch these. There is still potential for a spin up or two if anything does develop. We will break in and let you know about it. We have a tornado watch that remains in effect until midnight tonight, although I think the western counties on this watch will be whittled away as we head into the next couple of hours. Mankato probably will be out of this watch by around or before 10 o'clock, Mitch. We do have that warning that's expired. Things are starting to expire. Things are beginning to improve here a little bit. Did you find that video?
I did, and then the computer refreshed and I lost it.
We need to fix that.
But I was trying to get that video that you were showing me loaded.
Well, we'll probably have it tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock tonight on KEYC News Now. So I think for now, everything looks like it's winding down a bit, and this is a good time because it's 8:30 and the shows are I think something new probably kicks in here at 8:30. We're going to send you back to programming again. We're not completely out of the woods yet. If you are in Waseca, Owatonna, kind of between Wells and Albert Lee, we still have storms that are going to move through. The intensity and the severity has decreased a bit, but there still could be some heavy rain. We're looking at the potential of still some 60 to 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts with these storms. So stay with us. If anything does develop, we will be back on the air to let you know about it. We'll launch that crawl across the bottom of your screen. Mitch Keegan, thanks so much for helping out. I think my voice would be completely blown out if you weren't here to kind of help a little
Glad to
bit
help
here.
out.
We'll be back tonight at 9 and 10 on KEYC News Now with some more information on some of the damage reports and all of your viewer reports. In the meantime, we'll continue to monitor things, and if things start to look a little more sketchy, we will definitely break in to let you know more about it. For now, let's go back to programming.